The cast of The Apprentice is running the world. Trump, the daughter, Omarosa, they run the world, man. Yo, man, this crazy.
In a savage, no-holds-barred roast, legendary comedian Chris Rock just delivered a verbal beatdown to Donald Trump so brutal, it shook the internet to its core. The jabs came fast, sharp, and hilariously ruthless, leaving Trump red-faced, Melania reportedly in tears, and MAGA fans desperately scrambling to defend their idol.
Trump is not playing, man. That's right. This time is totally different. He's working with the #1 African American in the world, the richest African American in the world, Elon Musk. That's right, he is African American. Elon got more kids than the Cleveland Browns.
When it comes to public roastings, Donald Trump is hardly new to the game. It's practically become a weekend tradition across America. But in this instance, it wasn't your average zinger from a talk show host or an anonymous online hater firing cheap shots. Taking center stage was comedy titan Chris Rock, the man who transforms scandals, breakdowns, and billionaire meltdowns into legendary punchlines. He unleashed a level of comedic brutality so intense, even Melania, usually more frozen than her wax museum double, couldn't hide her shock. Truth be told, Trump's been a living meme for years, from his "I'm self-made" myth, newsflash, he isn't, to his flexing about brain power. Spoiler alert, still pending. At this point, he's less a political figure and more a comedy sketch wrapped in a red tie. What made this particular takedown sting, though, wasn't just Rock's expert delivery, it was the brutal precision aimed straight at Trump's Achilles heel, his ego. Chris Rock walked out like a man on a mission, mic in hand, eyes lit up with mischief, ready to explode a few egos with laughter. And front and center in his comedic crosshairs, none other than the nation's most infamous orange-hued, ego-driven president. With a smirk and slicing humor, Rock dismantled Trump's reality show version of leadership and mocked his social media tirades. And then came the knockout. Rock questioned how anyone could actually lose money running a casino, the one business where the house always wins.
I'm playing. We got Elon. They're gonna put him in a rocket ship. We call it Space Max. Oh yeah. J-Lo's gonna marry Ben again just so she can stay in the country.
Without warning, the crowd burst into uncontrollable laughter, just as Trump's famously tangerine hue reportedly darkened into an intense beetroot red. Right on cue, the verbal haymaker landed. Rock drew a brutal comparison between Trump and a washed-out sitcom relic, something like A.I. Bundy saddled with 91 indictments and addicted to fake hair in a can. In an instant, the atmosphere ignited again, as Trump, known for having skin thinner than printer paper, allegedly hit his breaking point. According to those close to the scene, he spiraled into a frantic loop, storming around Mar-a-Lago like a jittery toy soldier losing power. Perhaps he reached for his attorney in desperation, or possibly dialed Rudy Giuliani, who, let's be honest, was likely answering through a haze of bourbon. No matter who he turned to, the damage had already taken root, and the panic switch had clearly been flipped. Once built on the myth of invincibility, Trump's public persona began to fracture the moment Rock delivered his punchlines without flinching. Even worse for Trump, this wasn't some low-tier comic. It was Chris Rock, a man whose sharp tongue once sent Will Smith into Oscar night chaos. Thinking he could shrug it off must have been a delusion. This wasn't a MAGA rally packed with the blandest flavor of fandom. Online, it was chaos. Memes, hot takes, and reaction clips swarmed every platform like bees around spilled soda. Before Trump could even blurt out another witch hunt, The internet had already crowned him the joke of the hour.
That's exactly what happened. We got rid of bullies, a real bully showed up, and nobody knew how to handle it.
Politics usually flies under the radar for many, yet even they couldn't help but tune in as one of the greatest comedians alive handed the president a verbal thrashing. Looking at Trump's track record, it's safe to assume he'll soon be venting on Twitter, labeling Rock a loser, a hack, and, of course, his all-time favorite, unfunny. Let's face it, Trump's anger at a joke is as predictable as the dawn breaking every morning. Chris Rock didn't just roast him, he did what Americans have been doing for ages, laughing at the absurdity of a man who once stared straight into a solar eclipse, convinced he was winning.
Everybody's worried. Everybody's worried. I mean, we got Luigi. We got Luigi, you know, and that's good. I really feel sorry for the family. I mean, everybody's fixated on how good looking this guy looks. If he looked like Jonah Hill, no one would care. They'd already given him a chair already. Be dead, okay?
Trump's typical blunders, like suggesting nuking hurricanes or staring directly into a solar eclipse, weren't the main target of Chris Rock's humor. No, Rock dug deeper this time, going straight for the heart of what really stings: Trump's desperate need to be taken seriously despite his endless list of ridiculous actions. Imagine it. A man who tried to Sharpie his way out of a hurricane forecast, blatantly altering a map like a fourth grader changing their report card before their parents can see. He's the same guy who tossed paper towels at hurricane victims, as if he were running a twisted version of The Price is Right. Then, in front of cameras and medical experts, he casually suggested injecting disinfectant to fight a deadly virus, like an out-of-touch infomercial host selling the world's worst. Life hack. Being the razor-sharp comedian he is, Chris Rock wasn't about to let this absurdity go unchecked. He took Trump's most ridiculous moments and turned them up a notch, highlighting just how bizarre and disconnected from reality the president truly is. Rock's comedy isn't just about surface-level roasts. It thrives on exposing the absurdity lurking beneath the surface. He knows that Trump isn't just someone who says dumb things. He's someone who says them with absolute conviction, as though willing stupidity into existence through sheer force of confidence.
Nothing's gonna happen to Trump. Here's the crazy thing. It might just work out. Trump might work out. Yeah, I said it. Trump might work out. I mean, think about it this way. Bush was so bad, he gave us Obama.
In a moment that seemed almost too surreal to believe, Trump's infamous rally antics, where he danced awkwardly to YMCA, perfectly embodied the image of a man so out of touch with reality. The dance moves, reminiscent of a malfunctioning, animatronic figure at a chucked cheese, captured the essence of someone completely out of sync, as though his movements were operating in an alternate dimension. Speaking of Trump's obsessions, his fixation on crowd sizes was a field day for Rock. He humorously pointed out how Trump treated attendance numbers the same way a teenager might lie about the number of guests at their birthday party. "No one had a bigger crowd than me," Trump claimed. "Sure, buddy, and no one lost the popular vote by a greater margin while still insisting it was a landslide." But Rock didn't just stick to the obvious contradictions. He dug deeper into the petty aspects that define Trump's personality. Trump's relentless need to slap his name on everything, like a desperate real estate agent who knows deep down the product isn't great, was another point of ridicule. Trump Tower, Trump Steaks, Trump University, each one a glaring testament to the idea that if you repeat something enough times, maybe people will start believing it. Rock also didn't pass up the chance to poke fun at Trump's ongoing legal battles. From multiple indictments to the hush money scandal and the never-ending investigations, Rock made it clear that if Trump weren't president, he'd be a recurring, character on Law and Order. Rock's comedic takedown wasn't just about laughing at Trump. It was about exposing the absurdity of an era in which the most powerful man in the world seemed to operate with the logic of a reality TV contestant. And in classic Chris Rock fashion, he left the audience both doubled over in laughter and shaking their heads, wondering how it all got this far. Then there's Melania. Oh, poor Melania. Trapped in this never-ending reality show nightmare, she's endured countless side eyes, hand swats, and awkward help-me gazes during photo ops. But at some point, she snapped. After all, if there's one thing Melania Trump can't stand, besides, her husband, it's being dragged into his circle of humiliation. This time, she wasn't just part of the joke. She was front and center. Rock's joke wasn't merely about Trump, it was about the dynamic between the two. If body language could file for divorce, Melania's posture in 2017 would have done just that. Rock's roast exposed what many of us already knew, but were too afraid to say aloud. Melania had been enduring the longest unpaid internship in First Lady history.
Be a war hero that got captured. I don't want to vote for nobody that got away.
She totally lost it, throwing a tantrum so massive that it might have even made the Richter scale blush. For years, she's been gliding through this nightmare, hiding behind designer sunglasses and vague "Be Best" slogans, all while secretly plotting her grand escape. Let's be honest here. Melania Trump has always been the epitome of the reluctant hostage in this political sitcom. When she's not dodging Trump's hand like it's drenched in expired KFC grease, she's busy, delivering speeches that are the very definition of deadpan, soul-sucking monotony. Who could forget the time she literally copied Michelle Obama's speech, word for word, like a high schooler who just remembered their book report was due? That's Melania in a nutshell, trapped, detached, and perpetually puzzled about how she ended up here. And yet, somehow, she's kept her emotions buried under 10 layers of Botox and sheer determination. Until now, Chris Rock cracked the code. And let me tell you, nothing, I mean absolutely nothing, gets under Melania's skin more than the reminder that she's stuck playing the world's most awkward First Lady cosplay while pretending to enjoy her husband's company. But honestly, can we really blame her? Let's pause for a moment and appreciate just how ridiculous this entire marriage truly is. Melania went from being a model to marrying a guy who paints himself the color of a traffic cone and believes the term stable genius is something that applies to him. This is the same guy who thinks exercise drains your energy like a 90s Tamagotchi, believes wind turbines cause cancer, and once tried to buy land as if it were on sale at Costco. This is Melania's life. This is her reality. Every single morning when she wakes up. The moment Chris Rock lit up the stage with his roast, it was more than just a jab at Trump. It was the public airing of a long-standing suspicion. Melania's stuck, and somehow, that truth came wrapped in comedy. Naturally, Trump wasn't. Cracking up. Handling ridicule has never been his strong suit. The guy's emotional settings are limited. He's either typing in all caps online, he probably launched into his go-to list of grievances. Worst treatment ever, Chris Rock's a failure, lying media, all while pretending millions agree with him. Once that routine flopped, he likely escalated into full panic mode, dialing his legal team in a frenzy and tossing around defamation claims like candy at a parade. As Trump spiraled, Melania reportedly went nuclear because, let's be honest, she was never the silent supportive type. We're talking about the same woman who casually wore a jacket that read, "I really don't care, do you?" during a visit to a child detention center. Subtlety has never been in her playbook. So when she snapped, she skipped passive aggression and went straight to chaos. Imagine the wildest outburst you've ever witnessed. Then add stilettos, crystal chandeliers, and a thunderous Eastern European accent. One can picture her tearing through Trump Tower, tipping over gaudy furniture, barking at staff, and hurling decorative lions like they were paperweights. Because above all else, if there's one thing that pushes Melania past the edge, it's being reminded that her golden cage comes with a Trump nameplate.
Because you think a lot of parents would, encourage their children's kind of high aspirations.
Yes.
But like you told your mom,
When I was a kid, before I wanted to be a comedian, my dream was to be the President of the United States. It's the only real job I ever wanted, okay? Only time I wanted an office. I wanted to be the President of the United States. And I told my mother, and she's like,
Let's be real. Chris Rock didn't just make people laugh. He tore Trump apart with brutal precision. No matter how you spin it, Trump's obsession with power and admiration always backfires, leaving him looking like a washed-up contestant from a discount show about business flops. As for Melania, she's quietly counting down the days until the credits roll, and she can make her graceful exit. Looking ahead, what's the next chapter in the Trump-Melania drama? If the past is any clue, Trump won't stop being the nation's favorite punchline. Chris Rock? He'll keep earning standing ovations while doing what he does best, cutting through the nonsense. And Melania? Her choices seem to be either dodging his awkward public displays of affection or dialing up the nearest divorce lawyer. No matter which path they take, one thing's crystal clear. Chris Rock just gave America a punchline it won't soon forget. And for once, Melania might just be laughing along.